I'm Lauren.
And I'm John.
And this is Stella. She is a 2018 Ford Transit, 148-inch wheelbase. Come on in, we'll check it out. This is our kitchen. It was really important to me to have a ton of counter space. I love cooking, so I kind of had to have a little bit of everything. Our sink is a little small, but it works pretty well. We have our water pump switch back here, but we usually just leave it on all the time. We have a lot of storage in here for just random cleaning supplies, more random stuff. All of our plumbing is down here, so I have a 4-gallon water heater, a 33-gallon freshwater tank, a gray water tank in the back as well. It's 15 gallons. In here is where we keep our stove. So we just use a portable propane cooktop, so we just use the 1-pound propane bottles. So when I want to cook, I just pull that out here and have the racks on top and then connect it here. We have a lot of stuff that is all electric in here, so having something that's propane is really nice, and it just fits into the drawer perfectly. And then we also have a 1800 watt convection oven. It's pretty small and it cooks things honestly better than ovens I've used in an apartment. It does use a lot of power, but we don't cook for more than 20-30 minutes in there, so if it takes up 15% battery, it's not the end of the world. So up here it's mostly food and plates and bowls and stuff, and then we have like cups and mugs over here. And then we have a max air fan. We pretty much only use it for when we're cooking, but also it kind of works for temperature regulation as well, because we can open the door and pull the air through. We also have an Isotherm 12-volt fridge. What's special about this one is our freezer is massive. I mean, you can fit like 3 frozen pizzas in here, a whole thing of ice cream. It's huge. And the fridge is pretty much, I feel like, the same size as a lot of them. I'm able to fit a whole bunch of stuff in there. Usually about a week worth of food for 2 people. And then we also have a microwave. It's only 700 watts, so it's like the lowest wattage you can pretty much get. I will say, I think every van life or RVer should have a microwave. It doesn't use that much power because you're really only running it for 2 minutes at the most at a time, and it is the best thing I put in here in the kitchen for sure. I have most of my electrical stuff up here. All the switches and everything are kind of here. We have like our breaker box, my inverter switches here, our solar DC switches, and then everything else is pretty much all tucked away in here. So I have 500 amp hours Battleborn lithium batteries, and then everything else is like tucked away behind this drawer. So this one's not a super deep drawer. But if I ever need to access anything, I pretty much just take this drawer out and I have it completely open so I can work on anything that needs fixing. And I did pretty much all of the wiring myself. I did buy kind of a full kit from AM Solar. So they pretty much send you kind of everything you would need, but then you kind of have to figure out how to put it all together. So for someone who's never even crimped a wire before, that was a big learning curve that took probably a full month just to figure it all out. So this is real tile. I just bought this from Lowe's. I just really like the subway tile look. I thought about doing peel and stick, but it's not that much weight added. I'd say it's about an extra 60 pounds with both sides. I did make sure to use like a flexible grout. I really like having that, and definitely no cracks so far. For our countertops, I wanted to get something as cheap as possible that's, you know, if something gets messed up, it's not that big of a deal. So I basically just took 3/4 inch plywood and cut it to size, and then all the marble you see is just vinyl contact paper. It's pretty durable, as long as you do it without getting air bubbles. It looks pretty good. It's really easy to clean. If any water spills on it, it kind of just like pulls up and you can wipe it off. And yeah, it's been a whole year and it looks pretty much the same. So I'm pretty happy I went with that because it was definitely the cheapest option I could find. So for my kind of all my lighting options, I have overhead lights as well as under cabinet lights, and then I also put in these strip lights, so that way kind of at night you can turn those on. It's not so bright in your face, and it's some nice mood lighting. So in here we have all of our silverware, utensils, pretty much everything. And then I made sure to make a very large trash drawer because I feel like that's something that people leave out a lot. So I have a whole trash can just for regular trash and then a whole one for recycling. And I have this, which is literally just on magnets, and we keep cutting boards in here. just so I can use up all the extra space. So this is actually not just decoration, it is a fire extinguisher. If it detects any flames, it will just explode and put out any fire around you. And it will pretty much put out anything in the whole van. So I don't have to worry so much because I can leave the van somewhere if there was a fire in here and I wasn't here to actually put it out. This will pretty much take care of it. I added this one down here just for like really large things. So I have all my pots and pans on here, large mixing bowls, and that's where I also keep the racks for my stove in here. And it's nice just having a really big storage area because I feel like that's the biggest drawer besides this one, but that's all kind of like bed stuff and clothes. I was actually diagnosed with Crohn's at the beginning of 2020. It was kind of like a big shift for me, like for the future. I just kind of started feeling like I wanted to do all the stuff that I had planned, or, you know, dreams that I had, which I had always really thought the van life was really cool. And then when COVID happened, it kind of gave me the perfect opportunity. And I was like, why would I not do it now versus later when I might not be able to, you know, build a van or physically be healthy enough to do it. I have no idea what's going to happen. So that's kind of what drove me into doing it. So I pretty much told my dad, I was like, you can help me build it or not. I'm going to buy it and build it myself and I'll figure it out. And I eventually convinced him to kind of come along on the ride with me.
I'd say what drove me to it is her. I mean, I didn't really have a draw to it initially. She did it, she went and bought the van, and then I always told her, I was like, if you buy it, I mean, I'm like, I'm gonna come with you, you know, I'm not gonna let you go by yourself, I'm gonna come with you. So, and that's what I did. And it took me a little while to get used to it at first. I'm a big guy, so living in a small space is like, they're not exactly, they don't go together like peanut butter and jelly, but I made it work, and I really actually like being in this space now. It's pretty awesome. I get to live in like a piece of art that my girlfriend basically made, so yeah, I've learned to appreciate it.
So this is actually our custom-made pantry drawer. As you can tell, there's a lot of food. I actually measured each shelf to fit like certain things, so I knew I was gonna have like spices right in the middle. I knew like condiments were gonna be here and like tall stuff at the bottom and the top. So this was kind of a lot of engineering. It works pretty well though, because you're able to see kind of everything you have. We have had a few problems with it at the beginning when we moved in the van. When we would take like a left turn, the whole thing would fly open, stuff would fall out. So we've added not one, but 2 different locks here and here. And ever since doing that, it never has come open again. Moving back here is kind of like our bedroom, living room area, since our couch kind of converts into our bedroom. We do have a few storage drawers down here. So this one is mostly just kind of random stuff. I have some camera equipment. I have a little space heater for when it's cold, and kind of just some random like clothing items and stuff. And then in this really big drawer, we actually have this piece of wood that actually turns into like an extender for our bed. It actually extends our bed all the way over our countertops. Down here, this actually pulls open and we have like dirty laundry in here, and it goes all the way to the back of the wall. So we usually stuff that completely full before we ever do any laundry. But it's kind of nice because it's a little hidden down there. So one question that we get all the time, more than anything else, is about our ceiling. I don't see this very often in other vans. They're really thin, lightweight, and not only that, but it's actually completely magnetic since it's all metal. So we can use magnet hooks and hang anything on here. I have a cover for our vent fan that's all just magnets, sticks up there, and that's also how our cover for our Skylight sticks up on there. And then moving up here, we have our full swivel table, and this comes down in the middle and rests on these beams to make our bed. And then we have a few little like nightstand shelves where we can put random stuff. And then we have these lights back here for like little reading lamps that have their own switches. So when we're laying in bed, we can turn off the lights at the front and have these on. Then we also have this. So this is our Skylight. It's actually a boat hatch. So it has handles and you can open it up. And then I made this cover just to kind of blend into the ceiling. And when we close that, it keeps in either all the heat or the cold. It's really nice. We also have an AC unit. So this is pneumatic cooling, 12-volt AC. It is probably the best thing we put in the van. We're usually in Georgia, so it gets very hot here. So if it's like around 65 to 70 degrees at night, we can run it for a full 8 hours and it'll only use maybe 7% battery. If it's like July and you're in Florida, it's probably going to use about 40% of your battery if you run it all night. But for the most part, it works really well. And usually we're not going to find ourselves in Florida in July because we don't like that kind of heat. In here, on both sides, we have just these openings that we can fit a bunch of stuff. On this one on the left is where I keep all of my sheets, pillows, the extra cushions for when it extends over the counters, and they all fit in that one. And then in here I just have extra blankets, extra paper towels, random clothes and stuff usually, but it's nice because we don't always have to get in there. It's not too difficult. I did make the drawers under here just because I figured I would be opening these a lot more, and I thought it was a lot easier to have them like that than to always have to lift the cushion, open this up, and then get in there through that way.
This is the back of our van. Got kind of a storage picnic space. If you pull this open, you got storage for propane, roller skates, assorted outdoor goodies. We got the same thing over here. Keep some camping chairs and the like. And then over here, storage for yoga mats, outdoor rug, that type of stuff. And we got electrical equipment, toolbox, stuff to charge our batteries down here. And then, yeah, my favorite thing is the picnic setup that we have out here. So you pull this out, we have 2 drawers that come open that are on 500-pound drawer slides, so you can hold up to about 2 people on here. Take a seat. You don't need anything to support your weight underneath it, and you can pull out this table right here, and you have a space to sit down, eat breakfast, lunch, whatever you like, whenever you're somewhere with nice weather. So we like to spend some time out here, maybe take breakfast out here or whatever, and kind of enjoy the area we're in. There is also an electrical plug right back here in the corner, so you can charge your phone, charge your computer, whatever you want. If you want to sit out here and work, you don't have to worry about it dying.
If you fight in the van, you can't really take any time apart for a long time. You kind of just have to like get over it and move on a lot faster than you would in a house where like, or if you have separate apartments, because then you can just like go away and have a whole day to yourself. Can't really have that in the van.
Yeah, definitely one of the things that we do. Even like when we're not fighting, like I'll go up to the front where the swivel seat is, and I'll open up the door and I'll like pull out my laptop and play video games or watch YouTube or something. Like that's like my personal space, and she'll be back here doing her thing. So like finding a way to kind of delineate some sort of space, that way you still get some personal time, is pretty important. And I'll agree that definitely if you fight, you kind of just have to learn to get over it faster. You can't really hold grudges as much where you go back and you're like, oh, we'll handle it the next day. You can't do that here, because otherwise you're just going to sit and stew and deal with it. So yeah, definitely learning to kind of let go of the arguments has been helpful. But it definitely is tough because you're sharing such a small space. But it's also one of those things that I think it's easier the longer you're with the person, because you make a routine in the space. Like when the space is new, it's just 80 square feet and the 2 of you, and you don't know what to do. You're getting used to the van still, you're getting used to the kinks.
I will say we became a lot closer after moving in. Like we've been together 5 years now, so we're still pretty close before, but we had never lived together before that either. But we were like, you know, if we can live in here, we can pretty much live together anywhere. I mean, yeah, this is pretty much as close as it's gonna get. Yeah, like if you can live in a small space like that together, you know that you could live with each other anywhere. And that and like if we had any doubts about a relationship, that's kind of like the ultimate test. Like all the stuff that you might be concerned about is gonna come out then. 100%. Yeah. This is kind of our bathroom shower area. To get in the bathroom, I have this door that comes open through here, and this curtain swings closed, and then that basically creates an entire room in here. So it's a kind of like a convertible bathroom space, but then also if there's like someone in the back, it's completely closed off and it feels more private. Even though it's just us living in here, sometimes I have friends come and stay with me, or, you know, it's nice to have something that's still private. By not building a wet bath, we were able to have a lot more storage in here. So I was able to build this whole drawer, which is huge. We pretty much keep everything in here, extra toilet paper. I have a whole jewelry box, makeup, toiletries, extra towels, kind of everything you could pretty much want. Here we have just like the Thetford porta potty, but I built kind of this footstool vanity on top, so that way you had like a counter space in here in case you wanted to use mirror, do whatever. But then also if you take it down, it works as a footstool, so then you can actually use it and your feet aren't just like dangling. We only use this for emergencies. Pretty much I just have like compostable trash bags you can line it with. Honestly, I think that works really well. I didn't want to spend $1,000 on a composting toilet. This was a lot cheaper. I only paid $70 for this versus $1,000. So we tried to budget where we could, and I'm pretty happy with this solution. And then we also have kind of a convertible shower situation. So this pan actually pulls out completely, and if you wanted to take a shower, I have it so you can pull out in here, and then this curtain comes up and hangs on hooks that I have on the ceiling. And this is like just a completely waterproof pan, and it actually has a twist on valve right here, so I can twist on a hose and either just direct it outside, or I can connect it to a hose that I have in here that goes into our gray water tank. I will say we haven't used this all that much. It's nice to have as like an emergency. I'm glad that we didn't build something that takes up a bunch of space, because I would hate to have built an entire wet bath area and then never use it. So I'm kind of glad we went with that solution. In here, it's kind of what we call like our shower cabinet. I pretty much just have this shower head. It's on an 8-foot hose, and then the hot and cold shower faucet. So I have it on such a long hose because then we can take one in here with the shower pan, or we can take one outside right out the sliding door, which is what we've done most of the time. And then we also keep our pee funnel in here. I know that that's kind of thing some other van lifers do, but I basically just connected it to this hose, and it drains into a gray water tank that we keep mounted underneath the van. It's about 7 gallons. We definitely recommend the pee funnel. We didn't have that for the first month. Adding the pee funnel was probably, that and the AC unit are our 2 favorite things. It's just so much more convenient, and it just makes life a lot easier. This is where we keep pretty much all of our clothes in this whole section right here. We have a closet for hanging stuff. It's usually a lot more full, but I just took all my winter stuff out. We have like kind of everything in here, and a bunch of little shelves and a mirror on the door. And then this is usually John's drawer. Sometimes I take it over because he doesn't have that much stuff. And then this one is mine. It's slightly bigger, so I decided to take that. But we pretty much just keep everything in packing cubes. And these are pretty huge drawers, so they'll hold a lot of stuff. One thing I saw a lot of other vans do is they'll have a pocket door in the middle, but then you can't have a swivel seat. But I wanted to kind of create something where I could still have a pocket door to close off the whole cab area, but have a swivel seat. So I pretty much made this and used like a pocket door track on the top, and then just a normal drawer slide on the bottom. So then that will slide open completely, and then you can have this full swivel seat set up. But it's really nice, especially when you're first getting in the van, having like a table right here just to throw like your keys or whatever you want on here. And then on the back of the door, I actually have a giant shoe rack. So I have like probably 15 pairs of shoes in the van, which is a lot more than most people, but they pretty much all fit on this back door. And then we keep our window covers kind of shoved into the back. It's nice too, because just being able to close this off pretty much means that no one can see in. There's like a small gap here, but not enough to where anyone can see what's going on. I really like having this kind of setup. So you can usually find us on Instagram. We're at Stella the Van. It'll be in the description below in this video. And that's usually where we post most of the time.
Maybe look out for us on YouTube, just in case. We might be starting vlogging soon, so
we're gonna try. We're gonna try.
All right, well, thanks for coming.